welcome to the Technoedge Learning interview series. My name is CJ McGillivray. I'm very excited to be joined by Andreas today, who's from Innovation Networks. Andreas, thank you for joining me.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. So to start us off, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role with Innovation Networks?
My name is Andreas. I am the president and CEO of Innovation Networks. We are a managed services company. We do everything from outsource help desk to full outsource IT, based out of Richmond, but we go across Canada and we support companies across North America.
What would you say are some of your core values for working successfully in cybersecurity?
Acknowledging, first of all, you don't know it all, right? So being very, very humble. Don't assume anything. So double, triple check and always make sure that you've got an open mind when you're looking at everything when it comes to cybersecurity. Things change so quickly that you really have to be. You can't be steadfast in every role. There are some core values and core things that you want to make sure that we have layers of security. It's not just there's no magic bullet for cybersecurity, right? It's all about layering your business protection, the redundancy, finding out what your core assets are, and making sure that you're protecting them and you're meeting the business's expectations to be able to A, secure, and B, recover if something does happen.
If and when.
Yes, exactly. Because nobody's unhackable, right? If they can hack Microsoft, then they can hack Apple. They can hack anybody if they put their mind to it, right? So, you have to be prepared.
So as you know, Technoedge Learning is a proud partner of CompTIA, PECB, and Architectura. So why do you think quality certifications from reputable organizations are important for people going into cybersecurity?
I think it's important because, it's structured learning, right? Structured learning really helps lay out that framework for understanding the basis of the certification, right? The basis of the security or the basis of the process, so that it can walk you through it, so that you're comprehending, piece by piece, how it's supposed to progress, how it's supposed to assemble, so you understand what the design of the architectures are, right? Because if you just look at some of the pieces individually, they might not make sense to you based on what you're looking at. But if you understand the whole piece and you're properly educated in it, and you haven't just been, learning on the fly or to what you were exposed to, it truly allows you to make better decisions and give better information to the customers that you're helping.
What are your thoughts on the current training needs or talent shortage within cybersecurity and IT? We hear about this talent shortage all the time.
It's a little bit of a conundrum, right? We're kind of seeing the same issues that we saw, in basic IT, 15 years ago, which was, everybody got an MCSE, but they didn't know how to apply it, right? So we're seeing a lot of that happening in cybersecurity. It's such a vast, area to cover, right? There's so many different areas that you could be an expert in. So it's difficult to, get people to have the training. Once they get the training, and then, it's that real world experience, right? So it takes time to build that. That experience and that knowledge that comes with just working within the industry. So it's going to take time for the industry to catch up to that and have enough people being exposed and working within the security field. And quite honestly, security it was more of a have-to thing. It wasn't something that people were proactively doing. And now with all the requirements from insurance providers, from different industries saying, look, you need to have these things done. You need penetration tests done. You need this done. You need that done. You need to have all this stuff documented. It's becoming more of a necessity. So they're starting to, require cybersecurity professionals more frequently, whereas before it was more of like, peaks and valleys, and we'll grab this guy when we can, and then it was either feast or famine, right? So I think it's now becoming more mainstream.
That's really exciting to hear. And do you have any specific advice for someone who, they've got their certification, maybe they're lacking in experience, maybe they need some mentorship? Like, what should that person be doing?
Well, you see, and that's the biggest problem is I think we need a more robust mentorship program within the cybersecurity field. because, like I was saying, is when you're doing, ethical hacking, right? When you're doing a penetration test on something, it's not something you can learn in a book, right? It's something that comes with experience, where you realize, if I see that, then I probably want to go, down that path and further push that issue, or check the security on that, or verify something based on what you get. And those things kind of happen with experience. They don't happen just, not everything is taught in a book, right? So there's a little bit of, you can't really document a process for doing a penetration test, let's say, right? It's something that has to be more, you have to be more nimble. You have to be, more knowledgeable. So finding, proper mentor channels. There are some channels that there are people who are more experienced that do take some, less experienced people under the wing and do some training and do some exercise with them. But it's really getting that mentorship, I think, is the key, and or exposure, right? Which is less effective. It's trial by fire. So somebody ends up paying for that too. So it's really going to come down to, it's preferable to find somebody who can mentor you. Right?
And who knows, maybe in the future, we will see a more formal style of mentorship within the industry, within, educational institutions and organizations. That could be really exciting.
Yeah, and almost, kind of going back to that, ancient Athenian style, where you had you read your books, but then you had your teacher, right? You had your more of apprentice type ideology that we have in the trades. Bring that up to cybersecurity. It should be. It's difficult because we don't really have a central managing body like a lot of these trades do. So we're kind of self-managed, which, is very difficult, for the people like us in the industry, but also for customers who are buying services from within, because you don't know what you're getting, right? So that's where your certifications, at least if we know, look, they've had some formal training, we've got some certs under our belt, they've done this, they've done that, there's some check boxes that you can check, that you're at least dealing with the real thing. This isn't, this isn't me and Ed's Pizza Computers, right? So
yes.
it adds some meat to the bones, if you will.
Yeah, credibility to those products. Yeah, sounds good. And feel free to answer this in a broad way if you like. What kind of certifications do you see having a lot of value in the future?
I think they're all going to be valuable. I don't think you're going to have a security certification that's going to be useless. But I would suggest, if you're if you're just thinking about getting into the cybersecurity field, I would focus on more of those general certifications, more of your ISO or your NIST or your CIS 20 or something like that, because you want to be as general as possible in your entry into cybersecurity, because it is about those layers. So if you just go and nosedive directly into, let's say, wireless security, there's a huge market there, but you will be missing a lot of context when it comes to the wider area of cybersecurity. And so you might want to, start with that, go a little bit more wider, because when you are giving consultation on any of the, in-depth stuff, it's best to understand and really be versed in those previous layers of security, so that you can give proper consultation to your customers.
It sounds like contextualized knowledge is very important here. You can't just be in a silo of expertise.
Yeah, and it's also going through the mental exercises of being able to envision what the entire security framework is going to look like, right? And that's why we have the security frameworks that we have, like the NIST one, where they're asking you to start with your assets and then go through and then validate what they mean to your business, and understanding how that would impact your business, and then going through there and then starting to secure those. Because if you don't know what you're securing, like, people come to us all the time and they say, can we have a penetration test? Super. But have you done everything else? Oh yeah, we've done it all. And then we find out they missed half of their assets because they didn't even know they had them, right? That's why it tells you, start with your assets, right? If I'm going to do penetration testing on 3 IPs, but you've got 9, hey, maybe that would have been a good idea to discover that up front, right?
Yeah.
So it comes down to being, really thorough. And again, you do learn that in any of the, more specified or specific disciplines, but again, it's better to understand it all, I'd say, and then do your deep dive.
Sounds good. Thank you. Very valuable advice. So I did want to discuss the trend of employees moving from, say, help desk or administrative roles into cybersecurity. And how can employers support their staff to do this? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, training, right? Yeah, absolutely. Train them up. One of the things that we found is when you do, I wouldn't say force, but when you do offer or kind of, make it a little bit more enticing for them to take a little bit of cybersecurity training, the people who were like totally gung ho about it weren't as interested as the people that we were like, no, you should really try this. And then they got into it and they're like, oh my God, this is so exciting. So because
interesting.
It's a personality. It's definitely a personality type that gets excited about digging and searching and securing and designing, so that, again, you might have somebody who just wants to focus on one piece of it, but it does intrigue them. And so getting everybody to do a little bit of training, basic cybersecurity training is beneficial because you don't know what you're going to spark. And we do have, like you said, such a shortage in this area. Employers should really be, setting that, spark.
So a bit of a fun question. Do you have any favorite blogs, podcasts, or books or magazines that you would recommend? Maybe something you're reading right now?
You know what? I have ADD. Okay. So I am very much a topic person, and I go down very, very deep rabbit holes. So I'm not a guy who only goes to one source. I'm all about what's going on. I'd like to find like 5 sources and listen to all of them and kind of come up to my own deduction kind of person. So I'm not really a great, I don't usually stick around long enough for the coffee.
Could you tell us one of the rabbit holes or one of the topics that's been sparking interest for you lately?
Blockchain, application of blockchain.
Okay.
So that's a rabbit hole. Oh my God, that'll take you away. Yeah, that'll take you away. Make sure you have life insurance before you go into that one. But there's a lot of different new applications for blockchain.
Thank you so much, Andreas. I have one last question for you before we wrap up. For you, General, what advice would you offer to someone who is considering going into cybersecurity and maybe considering a certification training course?
Dip your toe in, see what the water feels like, see how you like it, but give it a chance, right? Don't get overwhelmed. You want to try the jacket on for a little bit because it is a little bit overwhelming. There's just so much, and there's a lot of very confident people that will talk you out of it. Don't be talked out of it. They're no smarter than you. They just know a little bit more. So as soon as you get that knowledge, you'll be able to understand what they're talking about. Don't accept, oh, this is too complicated, you can't figure it out. Yeah, somebody else figured it out, you can figure it out. So if you enjoy it, if you think you'll enjoy it, give it a shot, try out some courses. Worst case scenario, you're gonna be better educated, right? Because you don't need to be, focusing on cybersecurity as your profession to benefit from the training that you're gonna get. The training that you're going to get in cybersecurity is life training because it's all very, very logical. It's all very, very well laid out and designed to get you to think critically. So you'll learn something. So it is not a waste of time. I would urge everybody who has the time or has the will to try it, give it a shot.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.